Hello everyone. I'm going to try and do here a quick video for stocks to watch on my secondary watch list from the weekend work. I have about 18 of them, so we'll go through them pretty quickly. But before we get started, I'll be away from screens on Monday. I'll be spending my entire day at the hospital. I am going in for my final, my six round of chemo, and it's about 5-hour infusion, but there's blood work before that, and I'm meeting with my oncologist as well, and then my cancer treatment will be certified depending on my blood work and all that stuff. But I'm pretty fortunate to make it 6 cycles. 6 cycles is the max on the treatment, the regimen that I'm on. Anything beyond that, and it becomes extremely toxic to your body. I was told by my oncologist 80% of the patients don't even make it to cycle 4. So I am extremely fortunate and thankful for all the prayers and God for giving me the strength to make it through all the way to cycle 6. So that's where I will be Monday, and I'll be back at home Monday evening. But I, even though I most likely obviously won't be trading Monday, I still do my routine. It's just because it's something I enjoy doing, and would like to see from this watch list how stocks behave on Monday to give me some guidance for what do I need to do for Tuesday. So I'll share the list with you guys, and you guys know the drill. So let's dive in. We'll start with snow. What I've noticed is that a lot of the leaders are pulling back to the to their 10-week MAs. So snow is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got 9 up in a row out of 10, and then it consolidated for 3 weeks, broke out too quickly, and then pulled back, right? So what this is essentially did now doing is this is the breakout that failed, and then came back. That's the 10-week MA, and second mouth gets the cheese, failed breakout, and then reset. So that's kind of the weekly picture. And then again, pulling back, those 2 on low volume, very, very, very low volume, nothing concerning here. This is a trade that I took on Tuesday, on last Friday. If I actually took it above the highs of these 2 candles here. So my entry was down here. I put it on the list for sharing something tactic that I do sometimes. If I miss a stock that I want to be in, so let's just say I missed snow on Friday, what I normally do is I put a limit order on the pivot, and if the market is going to open a little soft, most often than not, if the stock is not going to just run, it'll open at the pivot and then go back up, and then sometimes your limit order gets filled. Tactic I use on stocks that I really want to be on, but I don't want to pay up if they moved without me being in them. But this is so far successful test of the 10-week MA on a potential leader in the AI space. All right, so that's snow. If you're not in it, that's a tactic that you can use to get in it. Okay, let's take a look at rbrk. Rbrk, I discussed this, if you guys remember, 2 videos ago. I discussed this as a potential entry right there, and I actually took that one. So I'm already in rbrk. It came within pennies of stopping me out. So my stop was below this low. It came within pennies from stopping me out. And then it bounced and then it looks really good. So I would like to add on top, above these two highs here, or probably scale just a little tiny, because I think ultimately what this is going to do, potentially the way I see this playing out, or I want it to play out, is it either does this, pulls back, and this. That's one scenario. Okay, so you can initiate here or add to your position. Or scenario number two, it breaks out, pulls back, and then you can play it here, right? And then initiate or add. Okay. The reason why I like rbrk, I mentioned, all this selling over here. What was this? All of this selling? This was financing that the company did. Then they bought an AI company. But if you look at the weekly, this is up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks up in a row. I talked about that before. And then now if you see how it's pulling back, this is really orderly. And then it's rounding up, rounding, right? So that's, similar to what we see on the daily. So this is testing this 10-week MA. 10-week MA is not magic. You don't have to touch it and go. You can build around it, right? So this is, as you see on the daily, this is the support area here that held. It's below the 50. They couldn't bring it down. So I think this really has a chance to go back. That's the highs. And then maybe give you another ad here, right? It's all the same stuff. So you're just going to watch it, right? So I like that. Uber. I posted about Uber on X. I liked it here. It was trigger above this, and that trigger is still valid. So you can still play this. Support at the 90 level, right? See that how many times? Volume declining on the way down, and then up on the way up. Okay, has all the kind of hallmarks of it's fine. Weekly looks great. This is a big base that it broke out of, multi-year base, right? This is all now below us, and then we're above. We tested it, we're up, and then this is failed breakout. Second mouse gets the cheese, maybe. Everybody that bought here, they're probably, under a lot of heat, or they sold, but all what the stock is doing right now is testing the 10-week MA. Okay, so that's why I like it. You got the support at the 90, testing the 10-week MA, bounced before it hits the 50, sign of strength, and then you take a shot at it here. Your stop is here. If you decided that this is something that you want to do and put on your primary list. All right, ZS. Again, like I said, all of these leaders are testing their 50 or their 10-week MA, okay? If you go to the weekly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks up in a row, 3 weeks tight, try to break out, failed, and now testing the 50. This bar, wide range bar, looks a little scary. It's not on above average volume compared to the up volume, right? But I don't like wide range bars like this. I would rather have seen 1, 2, 3 bars testing the 50, or 1, 2 testing the 50 versus just one from the high all the way down to the 10-week MA. But this is a narrow range week, so the selling did not pick up. And then you can play it above this, stop below this. Okay, I'm not in Z-scaler yet, but it's obviously, this is one that everybody been waiting. This broke out of here, broke out of here, and then earning per share doing this, right, increasing. Let's bring this up here so that it's not covering the weekly chart. All right, so that's Z-scaler. A lot of these, like I said, all of them are testing the 50 or the 10-week MA. All right, so Meta, I'm trying to get in Meta. I got in Meta. Oh, I got in Meta here, and then I sold it here. I think I posted on YouTube that I'm out. Sorry, on X. No time for losers. I'm on margin. If these don't go and they start pulling back, I'm out. I think this is now looks good. Obviously, there's the resistance here, so you want to start really small size, maybe 3% position, 5% position max. See how it does at this level, because I think this is just going to be a little bit of a problem right now. It's right above it, so that's the only hesitation. But if you look at it on the weekly, again, weekly trumps the daily, right? This is just simply now a cup with handle, right? So cup, and now this pullback is the handle, and then it's essentially at support. That's why I like it. I always look at the weekly chart to decide decline in volume on the pullback, right? So in the AI space, earnings, sales for a big mega stock like this, the growth is really impressive, and this looks very healthy. Cup with handle on the weekly. You're trying to find low risk entry on the daily. So what looks resistance on the daily looks fine on the weekly. Okay. This is how I played, obviously, if you guys remember. What happened? Stuck. This is not what we wanted. This is how I played Toast, and I played Meta. They were pretty messy on the daily, and then they were fine on the weekly. I'll make a video on both Toast and Meta. I think there's a lot to learn there from the weekly charts and how they trump the daily charts, so I'll do that. Sezl. This is one that I have been watching since here that never really allowed me to get in. So now it's pulling back in what looks to be a scary manner. Okay, but let's dissect this. Crazy growth. Okay, obviously came a long way. So now it's pulling back. High volume, yes, I agree. Even if you look at the weekly, this bar, one bar from the high all the way to the 10-week MA, I told you I don't like to see that. And it is on high volume. So not a, but again, testing the 10-week MA for the first time, high probability trade after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 weeks up in a row. Okay, that means something, but that maybe means it's just gonna do a little bit bigger base here versus just bouncing here. Maybe it's gonna do something like this, a little bit, and then round up like what rbrk did, right? So it's gonna spend more time here because of this bar here, okay? But if it doesn't, this is a place to buy it. So it bounced at support right here. And if you really, 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 really need to be in the stock, this is the trigger right here. I think a stop all the way here is way too wide. Let me take a look at my other screen to see how wide that is. I think that's pretty wide. So above the high of that candle all the way down, that's 8.5%, almost 9%. Not crazy wide. You can stagger it. You can, if you want, you can stagger. You can stagger a stop here, half here, which would be that would be 3.5%, and then you can stagger the rest below the low of this pullback. But that is in a sense a low risk entry. I just don't like these. These are distribution. 1, 2, 3, even this one here. This guy here, distribution. So that's kind of why it bothers me a little bit. And maybe head and shoulder. If it can't clear this level here, but if it does, that's really bullish. So not sure if this is going to make it to my primary. Well, I probably won't have primary for Monday because of my hospital visit. All right, let's take a look at not going. Let's do axsm. It's biotech. Profitable next year. I like to see that. Clean pivot. Not much to say here. Obviously, low RS, but what grabbed my attention is profitable next year. And then sales. That's crazy sales, right? 87%, 81, 66, 62. So they're making money. They're going profitable. I think if the market continue to rally and risk appetite, this is a clean pivot to shoot at, and then stop somewhere down here. Okay, dkng. I posted on this on X. I like the numbers for next year. Record numbers this year. Similarly, sales still strong, earnings, and so on and so forth. Back to the pivot, breakout, and then reset, and then you can take this one above this high. This will be essentially clearing the pivot again. And then, I mean, if you want to be tight, again, I think I talk about stops often. Stops are personal. So you can put your stop as tight as below this day if you want to, or you can put it below this level here. Okay. Easy one. WAB. WAB is also low RS, so then they're not my favorite. And this one is low RS because it doesn't really move that much. I mean, it has an ADR of 1.6, but the clean pivot here caught my attention. And then the weekly is really what caught my attention. This is just retesting this inverse head and shoulder. Okay. So potentially has ways to go, but it's a slower one, lower RS, record earning this year, record earning next year, double-digit growth. Sales are all right, not something to brag about, but it's a $36 billion company, so it's not a small company. So slower, okay? All right, let's take a look at that back in the daily quick. Clean pivot, breakout, pull back, test in the base, and then is it time to go? Right? All right, let's take a look at next. Well, not next, NXT. It's a solar company. Yeah, next tracker. This is nothing but failed breakout, reset, or second mouth gets the cheese. Fail, coming back, testing the 21 EMA, rounding at the 21 EMA. I always say I don't like buying them dropping. I need them to round and then show me that they're starting to go up. You can potentially take this here. Stop here. Okay, easy. This is go bounce here. So if the stock is gonna turn, it needs to turn here and now. Okay. All right. Zillow Group. I think I've used their app before. I was trying to buy, sell home or whatever. Record earnings. Like to see that. Base 36. Breaking out here. 84 on the lower side from an RS rating. Good volume. And I think that your low risk entry is here, your stop here. This is potentially the handle. MarketSurge doesn't show that yet, but so let's turn that off. This is potentially cup and then with handle, okay? And then you're betting that this is the low of this handle, and then you are taking this, moving above this high, stop below this low. That's your thesis, right? So if this is the low of the handle and your thesis is wrong, you want to be out of the stock, because the stock ultimately can do this and you don't want to be in it. Okay. All right. BE. I exited BE. It was a really great trade. I needed to book some. So I sold some here on this day. I can't remember where. And then I sold some at the close of this day. I didn't like this. I thought this was going to go here. Reversed. So I closed it. So I took profits, double digits. So I closed it here. And now I'm watching it again. I like it. So this is now also potential. And I talked about it before, that this is what I wanted it to build. This is building the cup. And this is potentially the handle. And if you guys remember, when this happened, I said, watch for that pullback, right? So that's what I'm looking for now. I like it. I think you can play it, taking the high, and then stop here. All right. NVMI. It's pretty strong. Weekly, quick. I was look at the weekly. Just normal pullback, right? Cup. And then maybe this is the handle, right? And then we're going to break out. So what you're trying to find here is find the low risk entry on that handle. That's all what you're trying to find. Okay? All what you're trying to find. So if you think this stock is going to pull back more, then you won't take it because you're going to get stopped out. If you think this is the low of the handle, then you can take this above this high, and then your stop is below that low, right? Take it here, stop here. This is in the semiconductor, so it's in the AI/ML space. Really nice sales, nice earning, record earning this year, record earning next year, single digit though. So I like to see double digits, but it's all right. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving. Shak. Shak. Still watching Shak, obviously. I like this growth here. I like this growth here. I like the sales. I like that. Try to break out straight up from the bottom. You know, those are very rare that they just keep going, right? What I've seen in the past is if they do break out, they probably pull up on the top and then back, or they do what Shak is doing, and then they put the handle of a cup with handle. Okay, so again, what you're trying to do, find the low of the handle. This broke support, so this looks like Meta, very close to Meta. If you look at the weekly, it's just testing the 10-week MA. Not even, still away from it a little bit. So if it bounces before it tested it, sign of strength. Low volume, nothing scary here. Just normal pullback after moving from what? Let's change that. See here, from like 73 to 140. I mean, that's a very normal give back, and you're trying to find the low. So if you think this is the low, then you take it here, smaller size, 3-5%. You see how it's going to behave over here, and then maybe it gives you something like this, right? Or something like this. And then you can scale and increase your position. So you do not have to go all in on the low of the handle, especially if there is a clear resistance above it or supply. Gold and silver stocks are setting up. So the two on my list is WPM. Take this above the high right here. It's pretty simple. And then you see if it does something like this here, right? So up, down, up, and then you can scale, or up, down, up, and you can scale. Or you get stepped out. Easy. Half of these setups are going to fail when you take them. Here's the weekly. Weekly look nice. After straight up, going flat base, right? That's bullish, extremely bullish. Volume pattern looks fine. Okay, so that's extremely bullish. CDE is the next one, lesser quality, not like the WPM one, and lower priced, but I like it on the weekly. It goes from 5 to almost 10, and then it goes flat. So it's built in this flag, right? First mouse gets the trap. Second mouth gets the cheese. Okay, so there's something rounds up here, just flat base at the 10-week MA. Again, gold, mining stocks, gold, silver are setting up, so you can take it moving up, stop down here, and then you see if you can pyramid somewhere up. Last one, well, two more. GTLS. GTLS is a lower price stock. What's really surprising about this one is, look at what they're making this year. Look at what they're making next year. The stock was $200 and $250 when they were making $2 and $3. And now they're going to be making 11 this year and 14 next year. And the stock is at like what, 170? So I think this stock is going to be a lot higher. If these numbers come through, I think this stock is going to be a lot higher. So I'm trying to position in a low risk entry on a stock that I think is going to be a lot higher, right? So where is your low risk entry? Well, it's right here. There was one here. And honestly, I did take it and I got stopped out. I had a really, really tight stop. My stop should have been below this, honestly. That's my bad. I think my stop was like 1%. I don't know why I did that, but I'm on margin. So if they don't go, I could come out. I took it here. And this was in one of my videos, I think the previous videos. So I took it right here. And then I got stopped out right here. Really tight. I really should have had my stop down below this. Could have stayed in the position and then now potentially add to it. Okay. Low RS. So I always put a question mark on stocks with low RS. Because it doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter what I think. The price action should show that what I'm thinking, but this is it's low RS, but hopefully it plays catch up. All right, last one, GVA. I think it's construction related. Yeah, provides construction, roads, highway, residential, commercial development. I don't know if it has anything to do with data centers or not, but obviously it goes from $1 to 6. So they're doing something right. And cup with handle, breaking out, retest it, and now you've got this kind of clean pivot here that you can play a breakout from, right? That's what I like about it, just the clean pivot. Earnings in 5 days, so coming up soon. In this area, in the handle area, volume is low, so that's good to see. So yeah, it's about 18 names for you to take a look at, and then if you like any of them, lots of leaders testing their 50 MAs, and then we've got other stocks with couple with handle and some low risk entries and stuff like that. So hopefully that was helpful. It's always more. These videos are more than just the setups. It's educational on why these stocks are making it to my list, what's the logic behind it, what differentiates them from all of the other 8,000, 9,000 stocks, right? 18, I mean, to hone in on 18 stocks and then ultimately 4 to 6 stocks for primary, that requires some intention in what you're trying to do. And I think that's what I'm trying to teach you here. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.